interrupt this program for a severe weather update from the Storm Team 9 Alert Center.
Alert Center in now severe weather coverage. A tornado warning in effect now for parts of the WTVM coverage area, so we are going to be here with you until this warning expires. But we will also mention there's a fairly significant wind threat with this same storm that's pushing in and out to Barber County, Alabama. So we may be with you a little bit longer as long as this wind threat stays the way that it is. So there is a tornado warning in effect for Barber County. Now look, this does not include the city of Eufaula. It does not include Clayton. This is from Clio and points down to the south. We're talking Texasville and Blue Springs, just that very southern sliver here of Barber County under that tornado warning. That goes out till 11:45 Central Time, about another 35 minutes or so. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, however, for other parts of the county there, and you see a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up. So that warning includes the city of Clayton. This is a very intense storm moving in. There's no way around that. The winds with this storm about 1,500 feet up off of the ground, more than 100 miles per hour. And again, we think some of that may be getting down to the surface in terms of what could perhaps be a tornado, or at least some very destructive straight line winds. They'll be moving into southern Barber County. Now, there's the new warning that just popped up. Dylan, if you want to expand that view out a bit, we'll look and see what other counties are included in this. Quitman County, Clay County, parts of Randolph County under a new severe thunderstorm warning there. And really, I know Eufaula, you're kind of in the middle right here. I think the Birmingham National Weather Service office might put out a new severe thunderstorm warning to kind of include you guys too. So just because you live in Eufaula, don't think that you're not under any sort of threat. You are. There are some rough winds moving your way. And this is what we talked about really throughout the course of the last couple of days. We knew that there would be a threat for damaging type weather across those southern counties. We thought generally south of Highway 80, and really it's going to be maybe Highway 82 and point south from there. But this is a strong system that we're watching. Let's go back to the radar view, Dylan. We got a lot of warnings on there. This is going to tell you a better story here. So notice what's going on. I want to stay on the big picture here for just a second. For a lot of us, this has been a rain event. For a lot of us, this has been a flash flooding event, and we don't want to understate that threat. That is still very much a very real threat across the Chattahoochee Valley tonight. There are numerous roads that are flooded out. Water is covering a lot of the roads. We want to make sure that you don't drive over the road if you can't see, or don't drive over the water if you can't see the road below. But right now, across those southern counties, that's where the ingredients are starting to come together a little bit more for severe weather, including the possibility of tornadoes. So we're going to take you down to the south. Notice this is very intense line of storms wrapping up from now, really around starting at Seal down to Union Springs. But the worst part of this line, the most intense part of this line, really starts around Bullitt County and then heads south from there down through the city of Troy and down to the town in Alabama called Jack there. So it's along this line that we have that potential for damaging straight line winds and those spin-up tornadoes. So Dylan has put a track on here for you. This is the old Blue Springs High School, and you can see some times of arrival here as to when that is going to move in. These times, by the way, of course, Central Time, but he's tracking the most intense part of that storm, the part of that storm that has the highest potential to produce a tornado. We have heard from our friends at the National Weather Service. They told us, please hit this hard on TV. This is a very intense storm. So if you know anybody tonight living down in that southern part of Barber County, again, this is not including the city of Eufaula, not including Clayton. We're talking far south Barber County. Let them know. Give them a call. Let them know what is on the way. This is a very intense thunderstorm. Once again, you see that tornado warning box right there that includes that southern part of the county. So Clio here again, one of the cities that would be in the path. And here is that part of the storm right now. I would say really the part of that storm that's the most dangerous on the northern edge of that tornado warning polygon that you see drawn there on the screen. If you're in Clio, you need to be in a safe place right now. This is crossing Highway 231 now. It did so just south of downtown Troy, and that is continuing to move off to the east at a fairly good clip, probably 40, 45 miles per hour, maybe a bit faster than that. But again, we are watching this thing move into Barber County very soon. You still have some time if you're out ahead of this thing to seek shelter. That small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows, along the line. This is what we are going to be watching for, these little notches and hooks that you see. And this is just one of those signs that kind of jumps out at us and says, hey, there's the possibility of rotation. And we've got some very, very strong winds with that storm there. Once again, this is moving off to the east. So if it continues this motion, Yes, Clio, you're under the gun. There's, again, not a lot of big cities out here, but again, we want to provide you that same kind of coverage as we would if this was moving into a highly populated area. Dylan's got a new track on here for you that gets you some new cities, new crossroads here along the way. And this is for that line as a whole. I don't really want to make a huge distinction as to where the tornado might be because, look, the winds along this line are going to be very intense north and south of where that potential tornado is. So once again, moving this out, Clayton 1133, looks like Teals Crossroads 1126, Tyler Crossroads 1129, Arrington at 1116. So that's what we're looking at right now. And again, these storms eventually will approach the city of Eufaula, and we'll have to again put you on alert here that this could be on the way very soon. We know it's going to be on the way here pretty soon. We just don't know how intense those storms will be by the time they roll in. By the way, we've got the Mobile Alert Center on the road tonight. The MAC is around Eufaula and driving south on 431. They're going to wait for this to move into their neck of the woods. Notice here the loop over the past couple of hours. You can see this storm moving on in. Again, moving fairly due east as of right now, and these little notches along the way are what we're watching. Notice there's another tornado warning down here to the south. That's approaching Ozark, Alabama, but there's another little notch right there that's going to cross Highway 231 south. So really two areas of concern along that line moving off to the east. Barber County are first in line for this, but if this keeps going, Quitman County, Clay County, maybe eventually Randolph County will be watching for you guys too to potentially deal with this threat as this starts to move our way. In the other boxes that you see on the screen behind me or beside me here, we've got our Alpha Insurance Skycam down in Eufaula where the rain is coming down, but as of right now, there's no severe weather concern yet for the city, but probably one on the way. And then the other screen that you see, our Mobile Alert Center on the road heading down south on Highway 431, and they're going to post up and wait for this storm to move over their location. It's going to be interesting to see their readings when it comes to wind speeds as this line of storms pushes through. Now, it still could be a long night for us, but I think the news for a lot of us is good. The news in terms of severe weather threat. When you look at this bigger picture, we've seen the area of rain and cooled air over much of the valley through much of the day. It has been cooler, even chilly across parts of Columbus today and points north from there. And right now it is just raining up here from Highway 80 and points north. Even a little further south of there, Russell County, yes, you've got some of the red and the orange shades there moving in. The rain is going to be a bit heavier, but I think the air even through here a bit more stable, not really conducive for tornadoes to develop. But again, our southern counties, that's where we have probably the juiciest air, the air that has the most energy to get these showers and thunderstorms going, including potentially, again, a few spots along this line that may have tornadoes. And that's what we thought we would deal with the whole time. We knew we'd have that round one today in the morning, that second round that could last at times through the afternoon and evening, and we thought this would be the main show, the main event coming through, and it probably will be being. But look, once this gets out of here, the severe weather threat is going to end. It will be over for the night. And Dylan, let's put up the tornado watch on here, and we'll show you what's going on. This goes until 7 a.m. Eastern time, but I do not think the threat is going to last this long. Once again, as this line moves through, that threat will be canceled or cleared from west to east as the line presses on through. So I don't think we're going to have to deal with a threat till 7 in the morning. And notice, too, where those counties are within this watch. It includes Barber, Quitman, Clay, Randolph, Stewart, Webster, Sumter, Terrell, Lee, and Doherty counties. So they're under the tornado watch till 7 a.m. Eastern time. But once again, once that line clears your area, the severe weather threat is going to be over. Just saw some big lightning strikes showing up there on that Eufaula Skycam. The MAC still on the road again, making progress down to the south on Highway 431 through some very heavy rain. And once again, the flood threat is high across the entire Chattahoochee Valley, so watch out for that. Looking here off screen at a few products, again, the winds still within this storm are very intense. We're talking 90, 100 miles per hour plus just off the surface. So again, it doesn't take much for that to get translated down to the ground within that storm that we're tracking for you. And Dylan's showing this to us, our tornado detection. So taking you down to the south, look at this. You see that big area of blue, and you got the reds and the pink right here. And when those two are getting close to one another, it tells us there's some sort of circulation there. And whether or not this is down on the ground or not, this could be a large swath of damaging winds at 60 miles per hour plus as this continues to move off to the east. That's why I'm saying it's not just that tiny little spot where there might be a tornado that we're worried about. It's really anywhere along this this line from the southern end here of Bullitt County all the way to the southern end there of Barber County. Dylan's drawing that out for us. That's kind of the area of concern that's tracking off now to the east. And once again, you see some of those updated times of arrival. Clio 11:29, Louisville 11:32 if it stays again intact for this period of time. And it looks like Graball at 11:50 Central Time. So that's what we're watching for you. I think now our MAC has stopped. Let's pull up the MAC if we can, Brad. I'm going to step out of the way and pull the MAC up full. And this is, again, our mobile alert center on the road tonight. Excuse me. And they are stopped. And by the way, guys, I don't have IFB, so y'all can just yell at me if you can. But I think Walter's south on Highway 431. He's pulled off the road, and he's waiting now for that storm to get through. The weather fairly quiet where he is now, but that's all going to change here, we believe, here in the next, we'll say, 20, 30 minutes as that line of stormy weather starts to move on through. Dylan, you got anything from our friends at the National Weather Service over there?
Yeah, and I have Walter in the MAC too, so I'm just trying to find out where exactly he is. Hey, Walter.
Oh, he's on the phone with Walter in the MAC. I got you. So we'll take it back here.
Say that again, sir? Moffett, Williams Road, 431.
Okay.
All right, so he is near the MAC is near 431.
Gotcha. All right. So, yeah, Walter's right off 431, getting ready for that storm to move through. Guys, by the way, I just now got an IFB back, so I can hear everyone in studio control now. So, and Dylan, don't forget you have to unmute your mic when we get back to you. But, yeah,
Yes,
Walter's got the heavy rain falling right now. Anything from our friends at the Weather Service?
Yeah, so right now, nothing new specifically from the National Weather Service. They're still watching that area of very strong winds over into Barber County, or that's moving into Barber County right now. This includes the city of Eufaula, which is now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Not under a tornado warning, but as this line pushes in to Barber County in the next several minutes or so, we'll begin to see that damaging wind threat increasing around the area. And what I'll do is I will go ahead and zoom in down into Barber County so you can get a better picture of what's going on. And lots of lightning with these storms, of course, and that definitely signals the severe weather threat and also the tornado threat with this. But there is that powerful Boeing segment getting ready to push over into Barber County here in the next few minutes. So if you're in Clio, now's the time to take shelter. Go into your tornado safety place. That's the most interior room of your house. Get low. If you have a helmet, put that on. If you have any blankets or pillows, anything to help insulate yourself in southern Barber County will work great in this situation. So we're continuing to watch that for you here, and these storms are rapidly pushing in to Barber County here in the next few minutes. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and put back on another tracker here and give you an idea. These storms are racing to the east at about 50, 55 miles per hour. So expect some strong storms as well. But as of right now, that tornadic circulation does look to stay south of you. But look, don't let your guard down, okay? Here's a look at that timing for you. Getting into Ozark at 11:29 Central Time. And we're talking Central Time, folks. Getting over towards Louisville at 11:35. Echo, 11:41. Lime Sink, 11:45. Getting towards Abbeville by around 11:53. And then, assuming this holds together, Eufaula getting to you right around midnight. Now, even if you aren't dealing with the exact tornadic circulation, you could be dealing with damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour as this pushes through the county over the next 30 minutes or so. And we're going to continue to keep on tracking that for you.
Yeah, Dylan, and go back and put the lightning up here one more time for me. I think we were discussing this earlier. Notice again where the lightning is clustered through here, but the further north that you go into this massive rain, the lightning output drops off in a huge way. What that tells us once again is that the air up here a bit more stable. You're not going to have these storms rooted to the surface, which means there's probably not going to be a major tornado risk up here. But the further south that you go, there's just more energy to get these storms cranking, and that's why we're dealing with this severe weather threat right now as it moves into Barber County. Now, if you're around Blue Springs or the Blue Springs State Park, that's another kind of landmark out ahead of this thing where we want to tell you, again, you need to be seeking shelter now. You need to get to that safe place now. Text Texasville right out here from that, Doster. You've also got Elamville, and you've got Blue Springs. Once again, those cities, along with Clio, need to be in that safe place now. Dylan, what you got?
And I'm just looking at the velocities on radar, by the way, and the radar is, and we're looking at Dothan radar, so this is fairly low. 100-mile-per-hour winds, just 1,000 feet above the surface.
Wow.
With this bow echo.
Yeah, and that's, again, this hasn't really changed in intensity much over the last half hour. So this thing really started to wrap up, and that's when the warnings started to come out. And by the way, Dylan mentioned the new warning that does include now the city of Eufaula. The Weather Service kind of cleaned up that severe thunderstorm warning a bit, now including most of Barber County. And these might be the kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings that you want to treat almost like you would a tornado warning. You want to take these things very seriously because of the intensity of the winds that are going to be involved. We've also got some extremely heavy rain that's moving in here. I mean, if you notice some of those pixels of purple and the darker red showing up right through there, that is some very intense rain along with this system. It's going to add to the threat, the flooding threat, as this moves in. But it's that little notch right there, right where you see the icon for 231. That's the trouble spot, and it is still a little ways away from that Barber County line. So you have some time, once again, to be able to get to your safe place if you're out ahead of this thing in Clio. And I would say, too, Dylan, I really think that the tornado is going to move maybe on the northern edge of that warning box. Just, again, looking at this. Let's throw the velocity view back up here for you. And, again, that's going to give us an even better idea of where those winds are going to be the strongest, or where the problem is going to be. So, yeah, once again, there you see the potential tornado is here, but you've got those strong winds north from there, south from there. You've got it on the the other side too. So once again, that's your potential tornado. Elamville, Lindsay, Baker Hill, eventually Abbeville. You run, of course, down Highway 431. You see Abbeville there on the left side of the road if you're heading down to the beach. But it's going to be anywhere within this area. I'm not just concerned about that little spot where there might be a tornado. I'm more concerned about just the potential for these destructive winds with this particular system or this particular storm as it moves on through. And here you see some other cities we've got up here for you out ahead of this. And again, this is just now getting into Barber County. That warning came out a little while ago, so got plenty of heads up on this, plenty of warning about this particular storm. So we've got time to watch it as it continues to move off to the east, once again at a fairly good clip tonight. Now, once this passes through Barber County, the next counties that we'll be watching for you, Quitman and northern Clay County. So those are in the WTVM coverage area. Randolph County here in the WTVM coverage area. Stewart too. So anywhere again through here, we want you to have that heads up, because this could be moving into your neck of the woods eventually if it holds together, if that energy is still available to get those storms going. And again, the watch here goes out, like we said, till 7 a.m. for all these counties that you see east of Barber County. But once again, for a lot of us, this is a rain event. We'll give you kind of the big picture here. If you're in Alexander City, LaGrange, Auburn, Opelika, Thomaston, Phoenix City, Columbus, Hamilton, Butler, this is rain right now. In fact, the most intense part of that line is moving through Columbus as we speak. So the rain is probably picked back up in the Fountain City and Phoenix City too, and that is continuing to move on off to the east. But the southern extent of that line, that's where you see, if you can also look at this loop right there, you see that starting to spin up a little bit. You can almost see that in the looping right there. And that's was telling us, again, this system was starting to strengthen. Dylan and I both looking at this thing, thinking we're going to have to go on the air here pretty soon. And sure enough, the warning came out. So the northern, again, extent of this is just rain and embedded stormy weather, and probably some embedded gusty winds too. But the most damaging, or most potentially damaging part of this system is going to be the southern end of it. Our southern counties would be the most under the gun for this as it moved in. So again, we're a little ways away from this getting into the central part of Barber County and Eufaula here. So you have time to be able to go to that safe place and seek shelter. I'm not seeing any debris showing up, which is great news. Looking at some other products here off screen. This is a little bit old. Let me see if we can get a new view of that. But we are not looking like we've got any debris being picked up by radar, which is fantastic news. But once again, that's just one kind of piece to the puzzle. That doesn't mean that there's not something down on the ground causing some problems or causing some damage. So we still got to watch that very carefully for you. We do want you, again, by the way, if you are in your safe place down here, which you should be, that small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. After the storm moves by, if you see any damage, we'd love to, of course, know about it. You can snap a picture of it. You can send it to us via the WTVM weather app. We don't want you, however, to be out and about taking pictures or video or anything like that. We want you to be in your safe place as these storms move through. Then you can get out and do what you need to do. But again, you can do that right here within the WTVM weather app. It's going to be a great resource for you weather-wise as these storms move into your location. Anything new you got over there, Dylan?
Yeah, no, nothing new from the Weather Service just yet, but I definitely agree with what you were saying a minute ago about how the storm's probably going to clip, if not even move out of the northern side of that polygon. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was expanded northward, that tornado or at least tornadic signature pretty much moving due east at the moment. And even if you aren't necessarily in that coil, extremely strong winds there moving into Barber County there in the next few minutes.
Dylan, I think we've lost the radar site down here. It may have taken a lightning strike or something. Looking at this on radar scope, the radar data is old. And if you see here, that animation, the minutes go there a little longer. So let's see if we can go into the radar and let's take off Fort Rucker here. We're going to have to look at this thing from Montgomery, I think. I think this radar site's down, but we'll double click on the radar.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So here's again an update. I knew this thing was moving faster, but yeah, right now the worst of the weather is moving through the city of Clio. So once again, this is updated data here for you. We had lost that radar site. Clayton, you're getting into some of the strong winds. Some of those strong winds are going to be in Eufaula here pretty soon, along with that heavier rain. You're going to see that pick up on the sky cam behind me. The MAC is right about down here, and they've got quite the light show. We're going to take them full in here in just a second, Brad, just to give you a heads up. But once again, the potential tornado, I believe, is probably east of Clio now. Let's put the velocity view up on this.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
We'll have a better idea of what's going on. So
I would say we're that.
And we're gonna have to update this. Yeah. So what happened here? We lost this radar site. Again, we don't know what happened. Lightning strike, something like that. We don't know. But now here's a better look at this. And again, it's tough to kind of pick out the spot where the tornado might be. But really, it's along this line where we're going to have the potential for destructive winds. There's Dylan's kind of circling that couplet for you, which now appears to be approaching Blue Springs State Park, which is right there. So Blue Springs, if you live in Blue Springs, get to a safe place now. This is on your doorstep with some very, very strong winds moving off now to the east. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to step out. Brad, let's take the MAC full on the screen for the folks out there, because he's looking into this storm and he has quite the light show there. You can see there, just almost constant lightning.
Wow.
And that storm is almost over the Mobile Alert Center as we speak. Wow. Blue Springs or Box Springs? Probably Blue Springs, right? Yeah, so our MAC is really in the spot where that storm, the worst of that storm, is about to cross over. He is in Blue Springs, which is in far southern Barber County, and they are under a tornado warning as we speak. There's another tornado warning to south of there. That's not in our coverage area, but the MAC is going to be in prime position to pick up some of these very strong winds with this storm as it moves in. Now, Brad, let's take the Eufaula sky cam, because they're kind of on the northern edge of this, and they're going to get some rough winds moving in here fairly soon. The rain coming down there in the city, that view might have frozen up a bit. Yeah, I think that view, oh, there we go. Oh, Dylan's got it. All right, so look at that. All right, we moved it a bit here for you on screen. So it looked frozen, but things are very still in Eufaula right now. You see the lightning, though, flashing in the background. All right, let's get back over to Max 1, Brad, and we'll pull this back up here for you. Dylan's got the trouble spots here circled, and we've got, again, a good zoomed-in view of what's going on. So the Old Salem Church up here near Blue Springs, you'd be under the gun. Tyler Crossroad, Teal Crossroads, the Clopton Church right there on the county line. The worst of that weather is moving in. Clopton's a little tiny town, I believe in Henry County, Alabama, but it's just north from there, the Clopton Church over in Barber County. This, again, is the general area where the winds are going to be the strongest. And let's query some of this data too in here, Dylan. We might have some winds, like you said, more than 80, 90 miles per hour in here. There's 70 miles per hour, 88. So once again, you've got the potential at least for a tornado down here. Even if you don't have a tornado, the potential exists for some straight line wind damage from Clayton all the way down to Blue Springs and really further south from there. And this is going to be moving off to the east. Oateston right here. There's a New Scania. There's your couplet here. And then you've got damaging wind potential even north from there down to the city of Clayton. So the tornadic part of this storm is now crossing out of Barber County, it looks like, or will be fairly soon. And that's going to move into Henry County, Alabama. So I think the Weather Service might put out a new warning here that includes that, but this is going to probably cross Highway 431. Again, maybe in Henry County, Alabama. It's going to be very close anyway. This is, again, traveling right here through the southern part of Barber County, that southern edge of the county. So if you're along the Highway 82 corridor from Eufaula back up here toward Union Springs, you're going to be in the damaging wind part of this storm. You're not going to be in the part of the storm that would likely produce a tornado. But once again, you may want to treat this warning very seriously just because of how strong the winds are. We also mentioned the flood threat for you earlier too. Had those numbers on there. Many places in our northern counties, Highway 80 and points north, have seen more than 4 or 5 inches of rain with this system as it came through. So you can see some of the warnings down here. Tornado warnings, that was updated too, by the way, Dylan. That tornado warning was updated. Now it's only that very tiny corner of Barber County that does include the city of Blue Springs under that tornado warning. So that warning was updated there.
I'm sorry, I went back to the 4 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll have to, I guess, take that off. We'll maybe save that view off so we can't, can't get it. But there's your the part of Barber County that was left under that warning. And that warning now, or that storm, probably out of the county, or will be out of the county here pretty soon. But if you're in Eufaula, you're still under that severe thunderstorm warning. Highway 82 and points down to the south, that's where the worst the weather is passing through Barber County right now. Once again, I think we're going to, once we get to the light of day, we're going to find a bunch of trees down through here as this storm has passed by. And Dylan, let's zoom the view out a little bit and look down to the south. I want to see these other warnings down here. This is a tornado warning for Dale and Henry counties. That has the potential to clip Clay County if it holds together. But that would be a little down the line here near Echo right now. That's going to cross over 431 here pretty soon. Abbeville is included in that warning. If that holds together, Clay County, Georgia may go into a warning too. That's also in the coverage area, so we're going to have to watch that very carefully for you. Let's go back to the MAC. I'll step back off the screen here. He is once again in Blue Springs, Alabama, which is southern Barber County. So he is right where this storm is about to cross over. Dylan's kind of zooming in there for you to the county. So very near the Blue Springs State Park. That's right off of, looks like Highway 10 there, which runs through southern Barber County, south of Highway 131. And that is kind of the trouble spot right now.
Hey, Derek.
Yeah, Dylan, go ahead.
The tornado warning has been extended now into, it looks like southern Randolph County and Clay County.
Gotcha. So, yeah, so that is, it looks like the warning was canceled for Barber County. It looks like no, it's still there. But yeah, this is a tornado warning that has been extended, like you said, to Clay and Randolph counties. Now, that does not include the city of Cuthbert, but it does include Days Crossroad, as it looks like it includes Fort Gaines, or it's very close to Fort Gaines. Shorterville, you're under the warning too. So this is a new tornado warning, Clay and western parts of Randolph County, which does include now the city of Coleman. So I tell you what, let's go back to this view is fine. We'll stay on this view here for a second. So here's Clay County, Georgia. Now, we don't have the county line drawn on there, but it's a little boot that goes right there. So this includes most of Clay County and western Randolph County. So Coleman's a little town that's about right there. You guys are under this. Cuthbert, you are not, but you could be. Once again, we want to give you a heads up if you're out ahead of this. You have some time to get to a safe place. If you're in Cuthbert, if you're in Shellman, Benevolence, this looks like it'll be south of you. Anywhere south of Cuthbert along Highway 27, no formal warning yet, but this is on the way. If you're in Clay County, we want you to be in a safe spot. Brad, can we take that on the map? Can we take that shot that includes his wind speeds on there? I don't know if we can. I'd love to see that. There we go. So, yeah, Walter said the winds have switched around at his location out of the southwest. That's good news. This means that storm is in the process of passing him on by. And there's not, again, if Walter was way out ahead of this thing and winds were out of the south and east, which they were earlier, that's a signal to us, hey, this could be a tornado problem, and it was. But look at that lightning showing up there, near constant lightning from the mobile alert center there. You see the lightning just lighting up the sky. Very torrential rain. Once again, Walter down there in southern Barber County near Blue Springs, where the worst of this storm is passing by. But we've got new storms to track south of him on, again, moving into parts of Randolph and Clay counties. There's new tornado warnings being issued for those areas on the southern extent of that line. But once this gets through, remember, your severe weather threat will come to an end. Now, we want to remind you that you can listen to us if you lose your power. You can listen to us on the radio, 102.9 on the FM dial. You can listen to our coverage. I don't think they have us up yet, but I just sent DJ Chip there a text message. Hopefully they can get us on. So down the line here, if you lose your power, you can listen to our audio on 102.9 on the FM dial. And boy, just incredible to see that lightning show. Tell me one more time, Brad. I'm sorry. Gotcha. All right, so let's go back to that Eufaula sky cam. I want to see that too, because that should also be a camera where, again, we're going to see a lot of lightning. The heavy rain is moving into Eufaula right now. There you see some of the raindrops on the lens, and just lots of flashes there in the sky in Eufaula. Once again, Eufaula not under a tornado warning, but the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for you guys. All right, let's go back over to Max 1 now. And Dylan's got the big picture on here for you. Our main concern down here to the south, and we've got new storms crossing over Dale and Henry counties in Alabama that have prompted warnings for the counties across the river in Georgia. Anywhere around Lake Eufaula, you want to be in a safe place from the city of Eufaula and point south, down into Clay County especially. It's a big lake, a couple of 100,000, 144,000 acres, something like that, big lake. And you want to make sure that you're in your safe place down here on the Georgia side of the river, again, Clay County. If you're in Eufaula, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. You're going to get some very strong winds come through, but we think the main issue tornado-wise would be south of you down here. Dylan, let's stop this and let's zoom in to Clay and Randolph counties down here and get kind of a zoomed-in view of what's going on, so we can give folks that heads up as far as what's going on. So
I'll
once
put
again,
a timer up too for you.
Here's the line right there. It's really lined up right along Highway 431, and this is tracking off to the east. And Dylan's got the track on here for you, and you can see the towns out ahead of it. Abbeville pretty much right now, 11:41. So right now, Eufaula, this is going to be in 11:48. A couple more minutes before the worst of the winds gets to the city of Eufaula. Coleman 104. We mentioned you guys. Y'all are right here in western Randolph County, so there's still time before this gets here. Shellman, eventually, there's no warning for you. At 1:22 Eastern Time, there might be a warning if this continues this track. Tonight, going into the rest of the nighttime hours, if we have problems, if we have additional problems with tornadoes, if we have additional problems with damaging winds, it is of my belief and Dylan's belief and again the meteorologist that this is mainly going to stay south of this line. So if you're in Chattahoochee County, if you're in Marion County, if you're in Schley County, and you live north from there, we believe the severe weather threat is mostly over, other than perhaps a few pockets of gustier winds, and of course the flood threat, which is going to continue. If we see additional severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings, it is probably going to be south of this line. So we'll say from Lumpkin to Richland to Preston to Americus and down to DeSoto and Cobb and Leslie at Highway 280 there. If you're south of there, we want you watching what's going on. We want you to have that way to get watches and warnings if, again, you decide to go to sleep. But this is going to be where the trouble spots will be tonight. We're going to say south of Highway 280 and from Highway 82 and points to the north. That's kind of the issue there. Dylan, what you got?
Oh, I was just looking. The National Weather Service was mentioning winds as strong as 80 miles per hour if you aren't even dealing with the tornado, just the severe thunderstorm warning. So this is a fairly strong severe thunderstorm warning as well. Usually it's just 60 mile per hour winds, but we're talking about the potential of 80 mile per hour winds for those of you in that severe thunderstorm warning.
And this is what we also kind of talked about last week for the Easter event. We knew that we would have winds that would be at a higher level with those severe thunderstorms. The system as a whole last week was quite windy aloft. The winds were very strong, the wind fields were, so almost similar to last week, at least in these. Okay, in these spots, we've got that wind potential 70, 80 miles per hour. Now, Walter, who's in our mobile alert center on the road there in southern Barber County near Blue Springs, telling us that the power is out at his location. That makes a lot of sense when you're talking about those kinds of winds that have come through. So some power outages likely through Barber County, Quitman County, Stewart County, Clay and Randolph if this holds together. Dylan, what you got?
Oh, and I was just going to say, too, in the next minute or so, in the next minute or so, we'll have this severe part of this storm moving into Eufaula, and we have our Eufaula Skycam also perfectly lined up over town. Frequent lightning right now down in Barber County, getting ready to cross over 431 as a matter of fact. So very heavy rain, gusty winds, strong gusty winds as high as 60, 70, maybe 80 miles per hour in extreme cases. So get ready, Eufaula. This will be moving in the next few minutes. Get into your safe place, of course, and then point southward as well towards Clay and Randolph counties. Take shelter as that tornadic part of that storm works its way into the area.
Excellent. And Walter's saying 40-mile-per-hour winds now at his location. Let's take the MAC view back up, Brad. And up here, by the way, you can see the wind speed. So when this blue bar kind of spikes up this way, you're going to see how fast his winds were. He was at 40 there for a while. He's got sustained winds now and has had them at least about 20 miles per hour or so for a while. And, yeah, Dylan's looking at, again, aloft. These winds aloft, higher than where Walter is, his location, 80, 90 miles per hour. So it's not going to take a lot to transfer some of that momentum down to the ground. And you can see just sheets of rain here blowing through Blue Springs, Alabama, crossing the road there, Highway 431, and just constant lightning. That's what folks down there are dealing with in Barber County. There you see, again, the wind spiking back up to about 40 miles per hour, sustained there for a period of time where he was. Again, high, it looks like 89. I don't know if that's a true reading or if that was taking it when he was driving down the road, but that's quite the wind gust either way down there at his location. So again, he's in Barber County, Blue Springs, right now where the MAC is located. Let's go back over to that MAX 1 view here. Perfect. And then we were looking at really just now one tornado warning that involves our counties of our coverage area. That would be Clay and Randolph counties here. So there's the town of Cuthbert. No warning yet, but this is just west of you. Coleman, we want you in a safe place. I believe Bluffton, we want you in a safe place. There's the line, or that's that part of the line that's moving off to the east that will eventually be impacting southern Stewart County, Webster County, Sumter County, and point south from there as this holds together. Now, I think we can also say with some confidence that once this passes by, the severe weather threat for the night is pretty much over. Dylan, would you say that's the case once this line passes through?
Oh, I definitely agree. Once this passes through you, you're done with the severe weather threat for the night. So I think we can give the all clear to places like Macon and Bullitt counties, Lee County, everybody north of Highway 80, including Columbus, probably all clear for the rest of tonight, aside from that flood threat, of course. But that severe threat really only down along Highway 82 in our extreme southern third of the WTVM viewing area.
Yeah, I think that's good. And let's stay on this view right here, too. So Dylan called it for you. All clear. Randolph, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Macon, and Bullitt counties. Again, we think the weather threat for you is over. Russell County, there's still some stronger wind and maybe some rain moving through the southern edge of the county. But really, if you're along and north of that blue line that Dylan just drew, the severe weather threat is over for tonight. You can rest easy other than the flood threat. But if you're south of there, we're still watching. And really, if you're south, again, of that line, that's where the core issue is going to be with this system as it moves through. And that's not to say the severe weather is not going to happen if you're in Casita or Buena Vista or Ellaville. But the further south that you go, you run into that environment where the storms have had more energy to work with, and this is moving west to east right across those counties. And really, hopefully, once this thing can clear Randolph County, we can get off television and start to wind down for the night once it moves past that county in our coverage area. But again, that's why we're here. It's our policy whenever a county in our coverage area goes under a tornado warning. We're going to stay there with you until that threat is over or until that warning expires. And again, we can make that decision too to stay on with you for different events, like last week's severe thunderstorm warnings that were passing through. That was an event where we had widespread tree and power line damage. We thought we needed to stay with you for that too, but we're going to provide you the same kind of coverage if you live in Bluffton, Georgia, as if you lived in Auburn, or if you lived in Columbus, or if you lived in one of the bigger cities. It's only fair. All right, Dylan's got another track on here for you. Taking that out all the way once again to parts of Sumter County, Terrell and Lee counties. You see Fort Gaines 12:53. You got about 4 minutes. Looks like Sutton's Corner 1:05 Eastern Time. Cuthbert, if it holds together, 1:10. And we hope once again by about 2 in the morning we'll have this line out of here, or at least close to getting out of here, and we can get you again that all clear for severe weather. But we've, again, as soon as a county gets an all clear, we can bring that to you. What you got, Dylan?
Yeah, and we've got sheets of rain now down in Eufaula on our Skycam as well.
Brad, let's take that. All right, Eufaula Alpha Insurance Skycam. We'll take it full here for you. This is located at the corner of Broadway and South Randolph Street in downtown Eufaula. And that camera is rocking and rolling tonight. You see, again, Dylan said the sheets of rain blowing through. Very, very torrential rain, some very strong winds. And hopefully folks are, of course, not out on the road. Most folks aren't at this time of night. That's fantastic news, but we hope that they continue to stay sheltered in place till this thing passes on by. What you got, Dylan? Yeah,
and I wanted to say, too, and the winds are really picking up now on that camera in Eufaula. But looking at radar right now, and the strongest winds are going to miss Eufaula to the south. But if you live just south of Eufaula, wind gusts as high as 80-plus miles per hour possible along that line. So, look, that can cause tornadic-like damage, and you definitely want to take shelter as well. And you can see on Walter's camera on the Mac, there are very strong winds down in Barber County at the moment, Darren.
And look at that rain, too. That's rain hitting the roof of the vehicle. So that's rain hitting the top of the Mac. And, boy, just some torrential rain down there. The wind's still quite gusty even at his location as that storm is in the process of moving through. Again, he'll be out of the worst of it here hopefully within a few minutes. And we can kind of get an assessment of whether or not there was any damage nearby. You see some of the big trees he zoomed into there. Just off the road. So all that seemed to have made it through okay, but we can't say the same again elsewhere. We think that there's going to be definitely some tree damage here with this system. Look at that. Some cars stopped on the side of the road. That's a great thing to see, especially the big 18-wheelers that may not be able to handle those kinds of winds when these storms move on through. So glad that they were able to get off the road and just kind of wait this one out. No need to be traveling in this stuff if you don't have to later on tonight into the very early morning hours. As we head into your Monday. And I guess now it is Monday. But, yeah, and you see Walter's winds there spiking up past 20 miles per hour. It's just some gusty winds with this system as it moves on through. Let's go over to that our Alpha Insurance Skycam view one more time again in Eufaula.
They're getting hit hard now.
Yeah, there you see and look down at the streets there. You can see the rain just blowing in sheets down the road. So this is Eufaula. There's no formal tornado warning here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. But the winds, or at least pockets of winds along the way, could reach those severe levels. That's why we want you, again, taking this thing very seriously tonight. Looks like we got a new, what is this, a significant weather advisory, Webster County, Stewart County. So this is for that storm. The northern edge of it as it moves in, the winds aren't strong enough to prompt warnings, but if you're in Webster County, if you're in Stewart County, a heads up for you. We could see winds at 40 to 50 miles per hour, heavy rain. And that storm is moving east at about 65 miles per hour. So that storm is moving very quickly. Wow, look at that lightning.
Was that a transformer?
It could have been a transformer. Yep, there's more.
Yeah.
Can we?
That's a transformer.
Can you zoom out that way? Maybe we can get a look. What we do at nighttime, we can see those power flashes from those transformers.
I think that was lightning, that last one. But I think that one from before was a transformer. It's blowing now down there.
Yeah, and that's one way we're able to tell at nighttime in these cities whether or not we have wind damage or tornadoes. You can see those transformers blowing, the wires disconnecting from the transformers, causing those little explosions that'll last there a little while. So that is again in Eufaula, where there's likely power outages in progress with very strong winds, perhaps at severe levels moving through. If not severe levels, I bet we're going to have sustained winds well over 40, 45, 50 miles per hour, that main line pushing through. And once again, there could be some pockets along the way where you get those isolated, stronger wind gusts there in the mix. Let's go. Yeah, go back to the Mac here. Walter's back on the road. Where is Walter right now, guys? Can y'all tell me? They're going to figure out where Walter is at the moment, but he's back on the road. And again, look at that rain. I mean, that's just so hard to drive through. And there are flood warnings all over the place too tonight. So we once again suggest if you don't have to be out and about, do not try to get out on the roads tonight if you're in these areas, especially where there are flash flood warnings in place. And Dylan, we'll pull up those flash flood warnings in a minute too. And
yeah,
give
I can
folks
do that
an idea. And maybe we'll look at those estimated rainfall totals in the mix too. Once we look at that, we'll bounce back down to the warnings that we have here for you, because those storms are moving very quickly. So once again, there's our Alpha Insurance SkyCam view in Eufaula. And let's go back over to Max 1, and we'll get the view up here of the warnings. So notice the counties here highlighted in purple. Those are flash flood warnings. That's where we've gotten a lot of rain in a very short amount of time. And the water is covering the roads in some of these counties, or it's ponded up on the roads, and that's creating major travel issues and concerns. And look, even where the warnings are over or you don't see a flash flood warning, you can bet that there are problems with travel in Lee County, Chambers County, Russell County too. These warnings in green that you see that are kind of in these weird places, those are flood warnings for rivers. So the Chattahoochee River back under a flood warning. You see some numerous other flood warnings in place here too. We've had rainfall totals anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. So there have been pockets along the way. Probably we're going to have 10-inch plus totals within the last 24 hours. Now remember, the southern extent of that are where the warnings are. There you see again the rainfall totals. So Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Harris, Muskogee, Chattahoochee, Marion, Talbot, Taylor, Schley counties. These have been the places that picked up the most rain today. That's where we've had the highest concern with flooding. Again, 5 to 10 inches through here, through that swath over the last 24 hours. And remember that more rain is on the way as we get through tonight. The rain is still coming down out there in many spots. Down here to the south, we haven't seen a lot of rain, but they're about to get some very heavy rain, and of course that severe wind and tornado threat continues in areas down to our south. Let's get the radar view back up here, and we'll go back down to our storms, prompting that tornado warning now for Clay County. So Fort Gaines right there, right on the southern end of the lake. You guys are still under that warning and likely getting the absolute worst of the weather coming through as we speak. And that warning includes the northern part of the county. It includes Coleman here in Randolph County, but there are not a lot of other cities included in that. Cuthbert, we mentioned you're fine as far as the threat of a tornado for now. Shellman, same story. But look, the severe thunderstorm warning or the severe thunderstorm winds may be moving through your location here fairly soon. If everything here holds together as advertised, and it probably will. Southern Stewart County, I'm not going to leave you out. The winds here fairly strong too. There's no warning at all for you. There's no warning for Webster County. There's no warning for Sumter County. But this storm is packing a punch. There you see Dylan's put those times of arrival on here for you. Cuthbert 108, that's an updated time here for you. Weston 117, and eventually Smithville, that's over in Lee County, Georgia, over here by 143. What you got, Dylan?
Oh, nothing. I just see in the last minute or so, the National Weather Service has continued that severe thunderstorm warning for Barber County. Tornado possible, winds gusting 70 miles per hour, hail penny-sized or larger also possible. And at least from a wind standpoint, from what we could tell from our SkyCam and, of course, the MAC, very powerful winds down in Barber County as well. Radar continues to pick up winds possibly 70, 80 miles per hour, and the worst now crossing just near Eufaula, but we'll be past soon. So we have a tree down according to our Yep. All right. So we have a tree down 431 on the MAC, and this will probably be a common sight throughout Barber County where they've had very strong winds over the past 30 minutes or so as that storm has crossed over the area. So hopefully that is most of the extent of the damage, and hopefully that tornado did not touch down. We don't have confirmation of that yet, but still pretty significant winds either way, and those significant winds can cause tornadic-like damage regardless, especially once you get above 70, 80 miles per hour. And looking at the street right there that Walter's on 431, probably south of Eufaula, look at all the lightning down there, tons of small twigs and leaves and stuff on the road. So that tells me the winds have been very strong down there, at least, 50 miles per hour or higher in the last few minutes or so. And he's not far from where that tornado crossed just a couple of weeks ago south of the Eufaula area as well. So Barber County's been hit very hard this past month by severe weather for sure.
Absolutely. And, you know, Walter, look at this.
Tree.
There's another tree right here. So
What is
Walter's
that?
coming up on another, looks like a smaller tree, but still, look at all the debris covering the road there.
And it's possible that he might be near where the potential tornado crossed, too. I don't know where he is specifically, but...
Yeah, guys, if you can, find out from him whether he's heading north or south, and let us know.
He's heading south.
Heading south. Okay, so he's heading further south, probably down into Henry County. Yeah, so he's heading down into Henry County.
That's very close where the tornado would have crossed if it.
Yeah,
if it
or
did.
at least where those pockets of really strong
Look
winds
at that
were.
mother tree.
So there you go. So this is, again, right on the southern fringe of our coverage area, wind damage. Dylan, we just got a new tornado warning. Let's go back over to Max 1 here, guys. We got a new tornado warning for Clay and Randolph counties. So this is basically an update to what we showed you or had been showing you earlier. Now, this is a radar-indicated tornado. We don't have confirmation of it, but this warning goes out to 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time. For Clay County right there, including the city of Fort Gaines, and Randolph County. That includes the city of Cuthbert. It also includes Coleman, we mentioned you earlier, Shellman, we mentioned you earlier too. So this is, and the old warning went off there. So this is the new tornado warning for these counties here. So the worst of the weather right now is in Clay County, but right now it's crossing over into Randolph County. So here's the track on here for you. And again, just because you see your name on here, whoa, Walter's ran into a big tree. Look at the... Wow, all kinds of trees.
Wow,
there.
yeah, that might be where the damage path was.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of trees down in 431 down in Henry County, Alabama. So that is this storm. This storm passed through those areas, and now this storm is moving into our other counties. We want you to make sure you treat this seriously. We've got damage from the storm. We don't have confirmation whether or not there's still a tornado down on the ground or not, but we're tracking a long area here for you because this is where the damaging wind is possible, where you could have winds greater than 60 miles per hour. In some cases, you might have winds greater than 70 or 75 miles per hour, maybe up to 80 miles per hour with this particular system as it's coming through. So right now, the worst of that weather that has the potential for a tornado sitting right on the Clay and Randolph County line. That is moving right toward Coleman. It will be there in about 2 minutes. If it's not there already. That's going to cross over Highway 27, including Benevolence, including Cuthbert. Springvale, you're getting the worst of the weather right now, or will here very soon, and eventually make it over into the the eastern part of that county, including the town of Shellman. I was down in Shellman handing out weather radios right after Hurricane Michael. We hope, again, if you've heard that weather radio go off here, we want you in that safe spot until these storms pass you by. The potential right now for damaging winds, potential for a tornado along the line, but really, again, the kind of winds that we're talking about, they can cause damage that would be equal to some of those smaller tornadoes. So we would like for you to take this whole thing seriously if you're in this area as this line of stormy weather continues to pass on through your neck of the woods. But once again, you saw from our MAC, the Mobile Alert Center, numerous trees down from Barber County and points down to the south, which is where this storm just crossed over. So regardless of whether there's a tornado down on the ground or not, this is producing damaging wind gusts that would be capable of causing damage to mobile homes, capable of causing damage to trees and things like that. So the general track there, again, moving off to the east, maybe a little motion to the northeast at about 65 miles per hour. That's the tornado warning now, mainly for a lot of Randolph County, Georgia, and still part of Clay County, although, again, that worst of the weather crossing out of Clay County pretty soon. We've mentioned, too, if you've got... if you have friends or family down to the south from there, we've also got other tornado warnings down to the south, all the way down through Dothan, Alabama, down into Florida too, perhaps. So again, this is the southern part of that line is one that is prompting some issues or causing some issues. Now we're looking at a velocity view. This is, and here's a good view for you. This is coming from, I guess, Montgomery.
It's the Dothan radar is still down,
right?
And I'd say it's a little far away from Macon. It's still far. It's far from everywhere. We really need the Dothan radar here, but regardless, very strong winds being picked up above the surface with this. So and I mean, it's not unreasonable to think if there's a tornado on the ground that this is making it down to the ground. So.
Right. So we're looking at winds that are pretty far off the surface. There's a new scan for you.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is, again, way up high in the sky. If you're going to see some numbers on here, you might see 80, 90, 100, 110. Those again would be winds off the surface. But if there is an actual tornado with this storm, which there is that warning with it, that's where again we are going to be watching for the potential for those winds to be down on the ground causing damage. So right now the worst of the weather right on the Randolph-Clay County line. Let's get down to the street level down there, Dylan, and really get a view of some of those communities and roads and streets out ahead of this thing. So we said the town of Coleman, you guys are here. You're going to get some strong winds, but it looks like maybe the absolute worst of that weather passing just north of kind of the downtown Coleman area. Pleasant Hill Church right here. Cotton Hill right now, that's in Clay County. That's where we think the tornado could be sitting over, or at least it's very nearby, the potential for a tornado anyway. That's going to continue to track off here to the east. Dylan's got that drawn here for you. Great track. You see some of those times of arrival out ahead of it. So Cuthbert 117, you got about 13 minutes. Goffs Mill 123, Randolph Southern School 128. I think that's an older school, a historic site. Shellman, there on the eastern side of the county, 128. So if you're in Shellman, you've got a good heads up on this thing. You've got a 25-minute heads up before this gets in. What you got?
And I would just say a good general rule of thumb, too, is if you live over in Randolph County and you live along Highway 82, I would say that it's too close to call. Definitely take shelter and get into your tornado safe place.
And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, too, that's been put out for counties north of that. So for Stewart County, for Webster County, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. There's no tornadic circulation that we're tracking for you, but there are some strong winds. So if you're in Lumpkin, if you're in Richland, if you're in Preston, if you're in Weston, we want you in, or if you're in Brooklyn or Louisville, we want you in, again, the mode of you got to be thinking, okay, if this gets really bad, I need to get to my safe place. Or if you live in a house that's got a bunch of trees around it, you may want to go ahead and treat this like a tornado warning. Get to that interior room to avoid any of those falling trees and that sort of thing. But boy, the winds, again, just looking very strong with this storm. New tornado warning, or I'm sorry, new severe thunderstorm warning now coming in for Randolph County. So that's for areas outside of this potential tornado. They basically blanketed it with a severe thunderstorm warning too. So what they're doing is they're saying really the winds are strong everywhere, but there are pockets, or this one pocket where there could be a potential tornado that we're tracking for you. But all of this area now under a severe thunderstorm warning with this particular system. Dylan's got this on here for you. So look at all the warnings now. So again, Quitman County, Randolph County, Stewart County, Webster County, Terrell County, part of Lee County, Doherty counties, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. But there's that one circulation that we've been tracking for you through Clay County that's moving into Randolph County now that may localize those damaging winds in the form of a tornado. And that's going to pass very close to the town of Cuthbert here very soon, crossing Highway 27 very soon, before crossing or paralleling Highway 82 maybe for a little while, until you get to the town of Shellman here. So that's the only active tornado warning that we have in our coverage area, but we're still watching the potential for those damaging wind gusts, Stewart County, Webster County. By the way, if you lose power tonight, we are live on 102.9 FM. That's Rock 103. We're also live on 540 AM WDAK. So if you lose your power, tune into those radio stations, our iHeart Media partners, and you can hear our audio at least. We can give you that idea of, once again, times of arrival, where those storms might be, where they're going, even though you may not be able to see us. If you also lose power, hopefully you've taken our advice on days like today. You've got your devices charged up. You can get the WTVM weather app out. You can watch our coverage while you're sitting there in your safe spot as these storms move through on the WTVM weather app. So that's going to be another great resource for you when you're in that safe place. Watch our coverage there online. Another housekeeping note here too. We want you again to have the WTVM weather app handy, because we can get out these alerts once again to your phone. Whenever there's a tornado warning that comes out, a severe thunderstorm warning, an alert is generated automatically and it gets sent over to your phone. That push alert gets sent to your phone and lets you know that your county went under some sort of warning. So we encourage you again to have the app for those reasons too. So again, grab our audio on 102.9 FM or 540 WDAK if you lose power where you happen to be, as we continue to track these very strong storms through. And you may lose power with a high wind event down here across our southern counties. Dylan, let's expand the view out one more time. We've been talking a lot about these trouble spots. Let's give more folks an all clear for the severe weather threat, because once again, If you live from roughly Highway 80 and points north, and a lot of folks again, they're not sure where those roads are and streets are. If you live from Tuskegee to Columbus to Butler and points north, your severe weather threat is over. As this line has moved through our East Alabama counties, we're also seeing Macon, Bullock, now Barber, and now Russell County. We can give you the all clear, the A-OK. Everything is going to be fine. So no issues in these areas along and north of that blue line. Really, the only concerns that we have would be from Stewart, Webster, and Sumter counties and points south. That's the area of concern right through here as this line moves through. Even back here, you've just got some additional rain that's on the way. And look, when we say all clear, we're saying all clear from wind, from severe winds, from tornadoes. The rain continues, and that may be causing some additional flooding concerns in some of those spots. But our main concern, once again, down here to the south, where we have that tornado warning in place. Dylan, you got anything from our friends at the and by the way, the Weather Service just saying the tornado watch has been canceled for Barber County, so that's good news. Yeah, and I'm glad they kept up the tornado watch down in Barber County earlier this evening. It was a good call for sure. Yeah, they had that watch out earlier for a few counties, and that was really for that potential for some issues in the afternoon hours and early evening hours. That moved through with fairly little fanfare, which was just fine with us because those storms weren't really able to tap into any of that warm air, that energy. But tonight, it looks like any energy that's out there across those far southern counties here in our area. Yeah, and I'd say we got pretty lucky because it wouldn't have taken much for this strong area of storms to just spin a little bit northward. So we dodged the bullet once again with this event for sure, at least here in Columbus, but points southward down in Barber County, Randolph County, over towards Terrell, Lee, Sumter counties are dealing with very, very rough weather here. And of course, we have a tornado warning currently going on in Randolph County. So we'll go ahead and head back down south over to Randolph County and take a closer look at what's going on at the moment. And let me just go ahead and zoom in here. It's going to take a second, but very powerful area of storms. Basically starting up near Stewart County, near Lumpkin, all the way down towards Cuthbert, right along that Highway 27 line. And what I'll do is I understand we have a tornado warning in effect, but really there's severe winds all along this line. And I'm going to go ahead and put a timer out for you here once again. This will quickly be racing off to the east over the next couple of hours. Here's a breakdown of that timing once again. Lumpkin arriving around 1:11. So basically on your doorstep right now. Richland 119, take shelter. Preston 127, Dawson 131, Plains 136. Getting over towards Smithville by 144, Americus by 147, and then Albany as we get closer to the 2 a.m. hour. And this is all Eastern time, by the way. So even though a small area is under a tornado warning, there's a large area with those potentially severe winds with this warning. Yeah, and again, this is one thing that we've kind of had our eye on through the course of the day. We knew that our southern counties would stand probably the greatest threat. We just didn't know south of Highway 80, south of Highway 82, which counties would it be? But I think we're getting our answer tonight. And looking further at the radar view, we again have some warnings south from there. The Dothan area under a tornado warning, Blakely, Georgia under a tornado warning. Those are outside of our coverage area, but still, if you have friends or family down to the south, make sure they know what's going on there across the far southern counties south of our area. Here you see again, there's Blakely right here. There's the town of Dothan. So these counties under tornado warnings too. This is where that line extends even further down to the south, down into Florida. But as it continues to book on off to the east at about 60 or 65 miles per hour, that's great news to us. That means we can end this threat sooner than we thought we might. And it always kind of tends to happen this way. We thought, looking at some of the computer modeling tonight, that we could see this threat extend to maybe 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. That is not going to be the case, at least for these counties. This is going to be out of here, hopefully, by 2:30 at the latest in spots. So we still have no confirmation of damage or anything like that here in Randolph County, but the storm has had a history of producing damage, and that's why the tornado warning is still in place here. Because the radar view is down where we would normally look at this storm, it's hard to get a really good picture of what's going on closer down to the surface. And because it's the middle of the night, this isn't a very populous county. we're probably not going to get great confirmation of what's going on down here. But still, if you're in Cuthbert right now, the worst of the weather is moving through your location. Andrews College down here, anywhere around the college, we want you in a safe spot. Dylan, let's get down to the street level here in Randolph County. We'll get really close into the city of Cuthbert and get some of those other streets here on here for you. Virgil Chapel, Mount Zion Church. We've got some of the old churches, the old schools that are showing up on here. Springvale, this just passed through your location. 82 and 27 Cross right there, pretty much downtown Cuthbert. And that's where, again, where we're looking at some of the worst of the weather coming through right now. Shellman, you're out here out ahead of this, and if it holds together, you're going to be impacted by these strong gusty winds.
I'm sorry.
With the potential, at least, for a tornado. There you see, once again, where you have the pixels of white and pink there coming up right next to the green. That's the potential for damage there on the north side of the city of Cuthbert. So again, this would be kind of downtown Cuthbert right through here. North Lumpkin Street heading up there, County Road 128, Maddox Road. We want you guys all in your safe place. This is approaching Highway 27 right now. So anywhere, again, from Cuthbert north on Highway 27, we wouldn't suggest any travel. That's where the strongest winds are in the process of moving on through. And Dylan's tracking that couplet where we believe the potential exists for a tornado. And you see some times of arrival there of some areas, some churches, some different things. Wow, that monument right there, 1:30 Eastern time. Dylan, I have no idea how to get that one. Itchawena Chwe monument, 1:30.
And actually, that's just updated too. So.
I got to go down there and visit that. That's interesting stuff right there. But once again, there's your potential tornado right here near the town of Cuthbert, moving off to the east. That will eventually cross into Terrell County, Georgia. Terrell County is not in our coverage area, which is good news for us in terms of hopefully we can get this out of here and get back to some sort of regular programming. But it is, if you live down here, you know somebody lives down here, there's no formal warning here yet. We're just watching for the potential for them to maybe extend that over. And there's another updated track here for you. Shellman 124, about 10 minutes or so. And again, don't take this, you have to take those times of arrival with a grain of salt. It may be pinpointing a spot within a city, but you might live way outside that little one tiny spot that the computer is picking up on. So again, you take this with a grain of salt. Hopefully you are already in your safe spot here in Randolph County, especially once again in the town of Cuthbert here as this storm or this potential tornado is crossing over as we speak. Please, 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 again, be in a good safe spot. What you got, Dylan?
Oh, and we're just getting numerous reports of wind damage, by the way, over in Barber County as well. And I'm actually going to check and see how many power outages there are as well here in a second.
Gotcha. And again, that was from the storm, from these storms that crossed over.
There you go. There
Perfect.
you go.
1,100 folks without power in Barber County with this storm as it crossed through. So I think those power outage numbers will go up as this gets over. Again, it's moved through Clay County now. It's moving into Randolph County. So those numbers will only go up here within the next little bit. This warning, by the way, expires in 12 minutes. So the tornado warning will expire in 12 minutes. I think the Weather Service will have to decide, do they want to extend the warning or will they let that warning go and not extend it? But look, regardless, once again, of whether or not there's a tornado, we still have the potential for severe wind gusts, winds at higher than 58 miles per hour. Dylan, what you got?
And I've got a brand new number, too. We've actually got that number up to nearly 2,600 customers now without power in Barber County alone.
Gotcha. And a lot of those could be around the city of Eufaula where we saw, power flashes with our Alpha Insurance Skycam there. So that, serious situation for sure when it comes to those wind gusts. Winds 50, 60, 70 miles per hour can do that. Our mobile alert center back on the road looks like too. You see that view from our box here on the screen. That's the Mac on the road. I think they're on highway. Where is the Mac? Are they on 431 coming back this way? It's, again, if you're in the business of going after these storms, and there are plenty of people that are, in the south at nighttime, it is incredibly difficult to be able to see a tornado. It's incredibly difficult to position yourself where you can do that. So, again, we err on the side of caution with our folks. We don't want them out on some of these roads where, again, you might run into a dirt road pretty fast down there in Barber County or one of these counties. So we'll get an update on where they are right now. But here's your tornado or potential tornado in Randolph County. Georgia. So again, we got a Randolph County in Alabama. There's one in Georgia. The roads right here that you see crossing, that's Highway 27 and Highway 82. That's the town of Cuthbert. And that is where the worst of the weather is over right now. But remember, that is moving off to the east at about 65 miles per hour. This thing is booking it. And you see times of arrival here. If this continues and crosses over into Terrell County, eventually the city of Dawson, around 136. It looks like Terrell Academy, the school there at 132. Shellman 126. That's right here. The town of Shellman is right there in Randolph County. So that storm will be moving there fairly soon. There you see Cuthbert popping up there on the map. There's a new update. Once again, the leading edge right through there. There's your potential tornado right on Highway 82, it looks like. Now look, there could be wind damage going on from Benevolence all the way down on the southern extent of that line. There could be the potential for winds reaching the surface causing damage. But that one issue where you have that potential for a tornado, we believe, down here on the east side of the city of Cuthbert, moving off to the east, really will be paralleling or moving right over Highway 82 through Shellman and eventually down through the city of Dawson there in Terrell County, if that holds together. Brad, let's take the Mac back if we can. He's driving over where we've got some more debris on the road. This was from earlier, an earlier storm at least. And just again, holler at me, tell me where Walter is. He's crossed over now. We got
wow.
All right, same road again.
Is that a tree?
All right, so this is 431 South. This is probably south of the city of Eufaula. Okay, south of Sears Lane? Cinder Lane, south of Cinder Lane. Now, is he in Barber County or is he in Henry County? Do we know? Barber County. So this is Barber County. We've got numerous trees down. Those look like big pine trees that are down. And this is, again, a view from the Mobile Alert Center. Southern Barber County, some power lines probably down with that too. Walter's looking off there. We've got the great lights on the Mac there to be able to see that. That could be a damage path. That could be where a tornado crossed over. At the very least, we know it is where we know it's where we've got damaging winds that made it on by. So winds greater than 60 miles per hour coming through, causing some tree damage there. And Walter kind of looking back out there into the woods off the road to see if we see any other additional damage. This is southern Barber County, by the way, and he's going northbound now, so he's coming back north through Barber County there on Highway 431. So again, that's a view of what happened a little earlier today, or a little earlier tonight when those storms were coming through Barber County. And when they crossed over 431 before making it over into Clay and Randolph counties. That's why, again, we're with you. That storm has a history of producing damage, a history of causing issues. And Walter spun back around now, and I think he's going back down the other side of the road there to see what's going on. So that's what has been happening down to the south of us tonight, losing a bit of his feed there a little bit. We're losing that internet connection, it looks like. But we'll, again, Brad, just keep that up on the 3-box there, and I'll be able to see if he's getting back into some more damaged area. Let's get back over to Max 1. We've got a new track here for you and a new update on our tornado warning in Randolph County. This line right here, this is the Randolph-Terrell County line right through there, and this storm is approaching it fairly quickly. I will go ahead and again tell you, we've lost the radar sites where we can really get a good view of this thing. We are not looking at this storm from the best point of view. We're not really able to tell you what's going on down on the ground, unfortunately, but there is still a circulation showing up with this particular storm as it moves through Randolph County, and it should be in the town of Shellman around 1:24, a couple of minutes before this moves into the town of Shellman. This warning will expire very soon, probably, I believe it expires at 1:30 Eastern Time. What you got, Dylan?
So we have a damage report from the National Weather Service over in Eufaula. Emergency manager reports trees and power lines down on Bullock Circle.
Bullock Circle in Eufaula. Okay, so I believe that's David Logan, EM down there in Eufaula, emergency manager, letting us know what's going on. So certainly some tree damage in Barber County, tree and power line damage for sure with this storm system that moved on through. Yeah, that tornado warning now expires again at 1:30, so in about 6 minutes or so, that warning will expire. I don't think they're going to extend it over based on the looks that we're getting, but again, that could always change. Right now, it doesn't appear that we have debris or anything like that showing up on the radar views. We're able to look at some different products back here. Dylan, pull up the correlation coefficient if we can. I doubt we're going to see much because it's looking at it from so high up. We can see if there's been any debris that's been
hold on, this
lofted.
is from Dothan.
Yeah.
This is the thing is too is from this far away too. It would take a very strong tornado to loft debris up to where it would detect it. So
yeah, we're just too far away to be able to see anything definitive there on the radar view to see if there's been any debris that's been lofted. I mean, there could be the storm that's pulled up some leaves or some small twigs up into the upper part of it. But
and the Dothan radar would have really been great in this situation, but unfortunately we don't have it right now. But it would have definitively told us what was going on near the surface at least.
Absolutely. So we're kind of beholden to the technology available to us. Again, you have to look at a storm of the radar, and you need one nearby to get a good view of what's going on at the surface. The Earth being curved, as the radar beam shoots out from the radar, as you get further and further away from it, it gets higher and higher and higher into the sky because the Earth curves under it. So when you're looking at these storms as we are looking at them way up high in the sky where the radar beams are hitting them thousands and thousands of feet up into the air, and that's not giving us the best idea about what kind of damage is going on down at the surface. That's why we love a radar really looking at this from a different point of view. We're just not able to get that tonight, so we don't know what's going on down on the ground there in Randolph County. Let's give you a picture here of the warnings. Once again, we are here with you because of a tornado warning in Randolph County. That's going to expire in about 5 minutes. Elsewhere, there are severe thunderstorm warnings for southern Stewart County, for Webster County, for Quitman, for Clay, for Randolph, for Terrell, for Lee, for Doherty County. So all those counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. And really, the damage from either a spin-up tornado or a severe thunderstorm tonight, it's going to be about the same. It's going to be trees down, it's going to be power lines down, it's going to be the potential for some structural damage issues in there too. North from there, the rain has been the threat. The rain has been the problem. Flash flood warnings still in place. A lot of river flood warnings there for the Flint River. You see those boxes. That's a river flood warning. The Chattahoochee, Columbus, and Phoenix City under a flood warning again. The Kinchafoonee Creek down here, it looks like under a flood warning. So that's an issue that we're still going to deal with into the day on Monday. The high water on some of these rivers, lakes, and streams across the Chattahoochee Valley. But as far as any sort of severe weather concern when it comes to wind, that's what we're looking at down here to the south. Warnings for the counties there highlighted in orange, and we've got that one tornado warning. And that storm, Dylan, looks like it's almost out of the county anyway right now.
Yeah,
it's crossing the county line here pretty soon down into Terrell County. So I think we're going to be done with that warning here pretty soon. But look, we're going to have to keep an eye on this. There's the potential, if this continues that motion, that a warning could be required for Sumter County if that kind of keeps that structure together. But as of right now, it looks like the worst of the weather sitting right on the Terrell and Randolph County lines, really right over the city of Shellman right now, moving off to the east, maybe east, northeast, and their little jog to the northeast. But the town of Dawson would be next there in Terrell County. We'll go ahead and give you a heads up again if you're in Americus and point south. We would want you to go ahead and be, again, mindful that a warning could be extended over to your neck of the woods. Severe thunderstorm winds are possible. And by the way, this should be close to the Americus area. Here we're going to say in the next maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so where you are. Dawson 130 here in about 3 minutes. Sasser 136, Oakland 142, Smithville and Leesburg, that's over here in Lee County, Georgia, after 1:45 Eastern time. So if you're in Americus, I think the worst of the weather is going to be kind of from downtown Americus and point south in terms of the potential for some damaging wind gusts. What you got?
And I'm just peeking at the map. There must have been very strong winds down in Barber County because look at all the leaves and twigs in the roadways. I'm sure there's lots of tree damage down in Barber County, and sunlight will definitely reveal that tomorrow morning. Yeah,
and I think, too, we'll be able to tell whether or not the Weather Service wants to send out a team to look at that damage and see, was it a tornado that caused it or was it straight line winds? Right now, look, we don't know. Right now, it could easily be either one. When you look at the potential winds that were within these storms today, it doesn't have to be a tornado to cause that kind of damage. Here's the big picture, and once again, we'll stop this here for you for a second and talk about where is the threat over now. So if you're in Quitman County, if you're in Clay County, If you're in Barber County, the severe weather threat has ended where you are. By the way, that watch was cleared for Barber County a little while ago. I would suspect that we'll see that watch canceled for some of our other counties here fairly soon. If you're in Columbus and Phoenix City and points north from there, the severe weather threat's over. Really, Dylan is drawing it here for you. If you are within this blue line right here, so if you're south of it or if you're east of it, we're still watching. We're still keeping an eye out for you. And it's this massive red and right through there. That's the line or the northern extent of that line that we're watching for you as it moves off to the east right now. Let's take the map.
Yeah, it looks like we have large trees down.
Yeah, this was, and again, we've still got Walter on the ground there in Barber County. Say that one more time, Brad, I'm sorry. Leroy Road. So this is Leroy Road in Barber County. Look at all that damage. I'm going to,
Wow.
I'm going to Google that real quick and see exactly where that is. Leroy Road.
Look at all the branches down the side.
Yeah, that's a lot of tree damage right through there. And again,
Even if a tornado didn't touch down, you're talking significant straight line wind damage down in Barber County.
yeah, I mean, that's winds approaching, or at least estimated by radar at 70 or 80 miles per hour in some of those cases there. So let me get an idea of where this is. We try to know a lot of the roads and things around here, but it's tough to get them all.
Yeah, just judging from my experience, that looks like a road after, a Category 1 hurricane. So.
Right, and now Leroy Road, so this is right off Highway 431. This is just south of the big Walmart there in Eufaula. So if you're traveling on 431 South and you see the big Walmart there on the right side of the road, Leroy Road is just south of there, right off of Highway 431. You turn right off of Leroy Road, and that's going to run you up to County Road 131, it looks like. So there's a bunch of little operations there, businesses, Spurlock Automotive there along the road, Mineral Manufacturing Corporation. That's on again, County Road 131. And Leroy Road kind of connects 431 to 131. So that's just south of downtown Eufaula. As you're heading into far southern Barber County. That's before you break into Dale and Henry counties in Alabama. So that's where Walter is in the MAC right now. That was, once again, damage that happened earlier with this storm that we're watching here for you. That is a fire. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So this is either some power lines that were down and caused a fire, or this could be. He's going to turn around and get us a better view here.
Very bright, huh?
Could be a lightning strike. We don't know, but that was a fire.
It looked like there was a lot of lighting, too. It might be bigger than first indicated there.
So we're trying to get a better view here for you. Yeah, so this is, again, our mobile alert center on the road, sponsored by Headquarter Nissan down in Barber County. And, yeah, we've got a little fire going on right there. So no telling again how this happened. Again, power line down would be my first guess.
Should I cut? You mean to tell the weather service or something?
Yeah, let's go ahead and tell the weather. This may be the first.
How do you spell Leroy?
It's Leroy.
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 Okay.
Yeah, in Barber County. So, and I don't know. Maybe Walter can get in touch with the local 911 down there. Just let him know what he's seeing. Because, again, he may be the first to come up on this after the storm has come through.
Leroy Road?
Yeah, Leroy Road in Barber County. So that's looks like a little fire there in progress. Hard to tell exactly what we're looking at beyond where that is, but that is a fire in progress after the storm moved through. Likely, again, maybe down power lines, maybe a lightning strike, but we know it's in the midst of a lot of tree damage there right off the road. And again, that's where we're seeing right now. So Walter's back on Leroy Road heading, I believe, back toward Highway 431. And again, you're going to see some of the debris from the trees and everything down there on the road. So, wow. It does again, it doesn't take a tornado to cause that kind of damage. There's a lot of debris there on the road that's been blown around by this particular storm with winds that we know were at least approaching 60, 70 miles per hour as that storm blew through Barber County down into Clay and Quitman counties too. So, and there's another little tree across the road there. Walter's having to kind of maneuver around what he's looking at there. So now he's back in a relative clearing there. And maybe that's, I don't know if that's just a regular, that's just a truck. So he's going to maybe talk with them and see what's going on. Brad, in the meantime, let's go back over to Max 1, and we'll get a view of the current weather situation. The news, again, is good for most of us in terms of severe or tornadic weather. That threat is dropping or is over for most of the Chattahoochee Valley, but there's still an area of concern that we're watching for. It looks like that warning was allowed to expire down here. So the tornado warning for Randolph County is now over. That storm is out of the county, but we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for, I believe, Webster and I believe Stewart County. So look, the severe winds are pretty much out of Stewart County already. Terrell County, you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning. I believe Sumter County, I believe there's a special weather statement out, but I don't think you're under a formal warning yet. Let me look at that real quick. Yeah, so the storm here moving into Sumter County is strong, but maybe the winds below severe levels. We'll say maybe some wind gusts still possible here, 40 or 50 miles per hour from Americus, especially point south down along Highway 19. But there's not a formal severe thunderstorm warning for you. Webster County, you are still under a severe thunderstorm warning down toward Terrell County, but we believe the storm may be weakening a little bit. Again, tough to kind of say when you're looking at it from so far away. We don't want to give you an idea of whether or not it's weakening, but the Weather Service deciding to only go with a statement here for Sumter County indicating the possibility of strong winds. So this is all very good news for us, and this will mean we'll be able to get out of here pretty soon now that the severe weather threat is winding down for the area. But from Americus down Highway 19, we still want you to be mindful of what's going on Americus down to Albany, with the potential there for some severe wind gusts. Once again, for most of us, it's rain, and that's still going to be the threat. The back edge of the rain here, though, approaching Alexander City, should be approaching Montgomery here pretty soon, but we do note that storms extend even further back down to the south and west from there. Dylan, let's zoom back into that little mass of storms down there, and we'll get one more view at this thing. We're looking at the radar site now from Warner Robins, Georgia, and that's going to be the closest site probably to get a view of these storms. Still plenty of lightning showing up, so these storms are tapping in to that energy that's still available in the atmosphere here for you. About to move into the city of Americus. If you're up in Americus watching this tonight, lightning, thunder, cracking, maybe waking you up, maybe getting you out of bed. Just know that you've got some stormy weather moving in. What you got?
And notice the marked decrease in lightning there in the last 30 minutes too. So
yeah, maybe
down.
Expand that out a little bit so we can see that too. That's a good point. So you go back over here, you see all the lightning strikes that were showing up. And as those lightning strikes get old, they turn a darker shade and fade away. And you can see this storm definitely not as intense as it once was back when it crossed over out of Barber County into Clay and Quitman counties. Even Randolph County, too, had a pretty strong part of this storm. So the lightning output has dropped out. If you're, again, listening to me in the area, I think Sumter County, Webster County, those are the two counties right now where our severe weather threat continues. For everybody else, you can sleep easy tonight, although the rain will continue. There may be some rumbles of thunder, some flashes of lightning that you might see, but the severe weather threat, I think, limited now to Webster and Sumter counties, and soon it's going to be over here as these storms pass on by. There still could be some pockets of gusty or damaging winds within this storm, and that's what we try to get across. When we get one of these severe thunderstorm warnings that come out, you see that it's in effect for an entire county or something like that. That doesn't mean the whole county is going to see bad weather. It means there may be pockets along that storm, localized areas where you're going to get some of those stronger wind gusts and have some of those problems. So right now we believe Terrell County, Lee County, Georgia, Webster County, Sumter County, where we're going to see some of those stronger wind gusts as this particular storm passes on through. So if you're anywhere around the city of Americus, again, there's no formal warning for where you are. There's no need to go to a safe place or anything like that, but there is a need, again, to just be mindful of this, to be watching what's going on. If you lose power, you can listen to us once again on WDAK 540 AM, and we're also on 102.9, that's Rock 103 on the FM dial. But I really think the worst of the weather is down there in Terrell County. It's just kind of looking at Terrell County, looking at the radar view here. Again, maybe southern Sumter County, you could get clipped by that, but for those of you in-house, I think we're going to get back over to regular programming here pretty soon. Maybe in the next couple of minutes we'll be working our way that way. So Dylan, let's get the big picture up here for him one more time. And once again, The severe weather threat for most everyone is over. If you're in Webster County or Sumter County, we're still watching some strong storms come through. They'll be out of there within 20 minutes. And once those storms cross the Flint River and get out of the coverage area, then again, we're going to be done for the night. It's just going to be a rain event for everybody else. But look, even behind the rain, even up here, you'll see lightning strikes. So there's still, again, some lightning being put out, some thunder, of course. Down here to the south of us, some lightning and thunder. But the severe weather risk is winding down across most of the coverage area. The rain has been a problem, and our northern counties have picked up a lot of rain today. You've had, in some cases, we believe 5 to 10 inches of rain. 10 would be the absolute extreme probably, and maybe a spot or two out there. Look at that, 9.2 there in Lee County. So parts of Lee, Harris, and Muskogee counties, it would not have been out of the question to get some of those very, very high rainfall totals today, or really over the last 24 hours as these storms have rolled on through. But up here, yes, the flood threat continues, but the severe weather risk is over and has been over. So once again, up here, you can sleep easy tonight. So flood warnings continue. Severe thunderstorm warning, I think, for Webster County continues for another little bit. Yeah, just really part of the county there under a severe thunderstorm warning. That storm, though, moving into Sumter County soon. And once again, there's not a warning for Sumter County. There's not a warning for the City of America. So that's all we've got out there. Flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll send it to Dylan one more time. Anything new from our friends at the National Weather Service, or anything new that you're seeing there behind the scenes?
Yeah, so there is another report of wind damage. We're just constantly getting reports of wind damage down in Barber County. It looks like a tree is down near Highway 10 at Dale Country Road 105. So this is probably a common sight throughout Barber County tonight. Numerous power outages and also downed trees. And I'm sure that extends over into Quitman, Clay, Randolph, Terrell, and Lee County as well, going over into Georgia. So the severe weather threat materialized for somebody tonight, and right along that Highway 82 corridor is where the worst of it was tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, and again, we're going to continue to get those reports as we get more folks that are able to get out and see what's going on. If you are able to get out and about after these storms pass by, you wake up tomorrow and you're out and you see a big tree down, let us know about it. You can send us a message, you can send us a video, you can send us a picture on the WTVM weather app, and we'll be able to get that on the air, or at least get that information over to the National Weather Service. We always like to do that because they can, again, look at what happened, and that can verify whether their warning was correct or not. They can figure out, hey, when we get into this kind of environment again, maybe we need to issue a warning a little bit sooner because we had this kind of damage. That information is very, very useful to the National Weather Service and to us. So again, if you see damage where you are and you can safely get a picture or a video of it, you can do that and submit it right on the WTVM weather app. I was looking down to the south. There's still some numerous severe thunderstorms down along the I-10 corridor. Some of those are trying to lift north, but I think the momentum is going to carry them out of the viewing area before they're able to get up here. But look, we're going to continue to watch things for you tonight here in the weather office. Lauren Linehan, meteorologist Lauren Linehan, is on the way in, and she's going to have this thing covered for you as we get into the early morning hours. We know with the light of day we're going to have some reports of trees down through Barber County, Clay, Quitman, maybe Randolph counties too. But again, Lauren's going to have an eye on this thing for you as you head through the morning hours. So News Leader 9 Morning, our next newscast starting at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. And again, thankfully tonight, the severe weather threat limited across most of the area, and down to the south, although we may have had a tornado or may have had some strong wind gusts, it doesn't appear that it was a major issue down here to the south. Now, for any reason, if we get a new warning down here, we'll hop back on the air for you. But for now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid alongside meteorologist Dylan Federico. We've been in live coverage of severe weather across the valley tonight. That weather threat is winding down. We encourage you, of course, to tune in to News Leader 9 Morning starting at 5 a.m. Eastern Time for the latest on that forecast. We're going to send you back over now to regular programming.
This has been a severe weather update from the Storm Team 9 Alert Center. We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.